And that's why Colin's not here. He was too emasculated by our vast knowledge on the Marvel Universe.
Hey guys, how's it going? One Wing here. I am Angry Mustache Guy.
And I'm in the top 2% of likable people on this channel.
This is true. You might notice that the most liked person isn't here today, and that's because we want this video to do as poorly as possible. So
He just wanted the series to tank, so he's like, you're not... I guess we weren't paying him enough.
not paying him enough. All right, so we're gonna jump in here. William, what were your thoughts on episode 3, the 70s episode?
Well, before we go on, obviously, spoiler warning if you're watching this and haven't watched the other episodes.
Yeah, no remorse. If you click the link, it says in the description.
Episode 3, I really liked it since it was more, well, I guess more timey than like the 50s and 60s. It was playing off a show that I would enjoy more with kind of like the classic sitcom type thing with her like trying to hide the stork from, what's her name?
Shoot.
Monica?
Yeah, Monica. Whoa. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
She's like the future Captain Marvel.
Yes, but didn't she have another show when she was on a different name when she was on the show?
Yeah,
Glenn.
Geraldine.
So at the time, Geraldine. So I really enjoyed that. It was fun, and what else happened in that episode other than the labor?
Yeah, finally, Speed and Wiccan given birth. Oh, so they started playing off as if like the people in town were aware of the situation, right? Like, what's the witch's character's name?
Agnes.
Yeah, Agnes. Like Agnes and the neighbor, they were talking. And
Herb.
when Herb and Vision was like, "What's going on?" They like start to spill the beans, and then they realize maybe we shouldn't do this, right?
Mm-hmm. So it does seem like they do have a knowledge of they are trapped in this town, which is interesting since it didn't look that way in like the first 2 episodes. But they looked obviously trapped and were on the verge of telling Vision what was going on.
Now, to recap, in the comics, Agnes is a powerful deity that shows up to lend people help. Doesn't matter if you're good or bad. If you are in need, it's like kind of like we talked last time, like Lady in the Water situation. Hey, if I help you, you will go on to do something great that will help others, kind of thing. So, is that the role she's playing in this show? Yes, no?
Well, I feel like since it could all be Wanda, but a theory is that she made like a deal with Agatha and like Mephisto, kind of like a deal to have this perfect happy life inside this world. So she's basically made like a deal with the devil type thing to live like happily ever after.
Interesting.
Or it could be all Wanda. So
yeah, I definitely am leaning more towards Wanda creating her own thing, because I feel like this series is setting up how powerful Wanda actually is.
For sure.
And, yeah, so therefore, if it was like Mephisto's creation world, that would take away from that. You never know. That could be it, though, right? Because like, what is Mephisto's connection to the show if he didn't put her here, right? My thought during episode 1 was she created this world, and Mephisto is trying to manipulate her as much as possible to get Speed and Wiccan for himself, kind of thing.
Well,
right?
yeah, with all the children.
Yeah, that leaves her being the powerful being that created this alternate reality, and Mephisto being the all-powerful being that he is, he's able to go into there, and then he will get what he wants from that situation.
Yes.
So, interesting. So do you think Agatha is working for
Mephisto.
Mephisto?
The theory is that Ralph is Mephisto. Since she's always mentioning Ralph, we have not seen Ralph, so it's probably going to be Mephisto himself.
That's probably... I think you might be spot on.
Yeah, when she mentioned Ultron, obviously we were hit by a surprise since we didn't know for sure what was happening at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, also the time jump back. That was in episode 3. Was when Vision started figuring it out of something's not right. Vision stares right into the camera for a second before Wanda sets the scene back 10 seconds.
Yeah. Right.
So he started figuring out that something was wrong, and she fixed it just like the beekeeper scene.
Mm-hmm. Do you think every time she rewinds, she's creating another offshoot reality?
That'd be interesting.
Doctor Strange has to show up and be like, yo, there's so many different realities being created out of this one spot. Something is messed up here.
That could be plausible as well, and that's why, do you think Doctor Strange will show up in the final episode?
Here's the thing. People that have predicted, the cameos and stuff, predicting, Jimmy Woo and all these people, they also predicted Doctor Strange. So, so far the predictions have been right every time. It's maybe.
Also, in talks about, since reported cameos that we will see, one, Pietro, the MCU Quicksilver, and also I heard rumors that we might be seeing Evan Peters Quicksilver.
Yes.
Which would be our first look into the multiverse type reality.
Yeah, because when Monica Rambeau was talking about her brother, oh, but he's dead. The first thing I thought of was maybe this is going to trigger something, and since she brought Vision back, will she bring her brother back? Mm-hmm. And then I was talking to Jaren once again, and he said there are rumors going around that the guy from the Fox universe did sign on for this movie, for this TV show. And so it's she wants to bring back her brother, but she ends up bringing the wrong brother back from a different timeline, right? Mm-hmm. And I thought that would be really cool. I liked both Quicksilvers, the MCU and the Fox Quicksilver, and I was really sad that the MCU Quicksilver died in one movie because he had so much potential.
Me too.
But I was really hoping for them to bring him back, but if they bring the Fox Quicksilver into this universe, that would also be really cool, because pretty much that's them being hey, by the way, when the multiverse gets messed up and the Doctor Strange movie comes out, we're going to start pulling characters from everywhere. So that's Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool will make mm-hmm. sense from now on. Yeah, things like that, right? The certain actors that we liked from the Fox universe, we can pull. There's a rumor that some other Fox characters will be coming into the MCU. I don't know WandaVision specifically, or if they're mentioning other things. So I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So getting back to the episodes, at the end of episode 3, when she throws her out, I'm glad we got the full scene in episode 4 of what happened when Vision was outside, since that was really cool and satisfying seeing, how exactly it went down there.
Mm-hmm. Also, in episode 4, we find out that all the people, we find out that the universe that she's created is actually a real place. It's just Westview. They just call it Eastview, and it's there's a force field around the town, and she's basically captured the town and are forcing them to be a part of this TV show that is her life.
Mm-hmm.
So all of her neighbors are real people. They aren't fabricated out of nowhere. Um, for all we know, it's the only fabricated people are Speed, Wiccan, and Vision. And someone mentioned to me earlier today, actually, they said, what if Vision isn't created? What if she has Vision's dead body and she's just reanimating him?
I think that's what I was thinking after we saw like his like the flash of his dead like face.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that's really messed up though if she is just like controlling his corpse but also
Yeah,
reanimating him.
I think it's very unlikely because if it was his dead animated corpse, not just because it's gruesome and awful, but once this breaks and she snaps out of it, Vision would be dead. And I think the goal of this is not only does she create children for herself, but she brings Vision back, right? And
See,
is it going to be like a carbon copy of who he was from her memory pulled into existence, or is it going to be a guy like a Vision from another reality that she pulled out? Like she can rewind time in her own
mm-hmm.
little bubble. Was she able to rewind? Like who knows, right?
Well, if that's very plausible, kind of like from the other reality, like that's how Gamora is alive in the MCU
Mm-hmm.
now, and so that is plausible. I think. So, do you think Vision's like going to stick around after WandaVision? Because I personally thought once WandaVision is over, Vision will be gone.
If Wanda's gone, Vision's gone. That's
Do you
my
mean the other way
thought.
around? If Vision's gone, Wanda's gone?
Well,
Is that
either
what you
or, it
meant to
doesn't
say?
matter. Like if Wanda gets killed off, obviously they're not going to keep Vision around. And if I don't know. I can't see Wanda being alone again. But maybe in like the world's most heartbreaking scene where Vision's like, "But I'm not real. You must let me go." And she's like, "No, no, no. I just got you back." And he's like, "Please, like I died. This is just a fabrication from your memory. You brought me back." Like I guess that could happen.
Because I think it could also be the tipping point of her to, since, to shape her up to be the villain of Doctor Strange 2 is that would be the tipping point if she lost Vision forever, then, she could be evil after that.
That's true. Is she going to be the villain in Doctor Strange?
I
Multiverse of
believe
Madness?
so.
I thought she was just going to be the person that opens up all of these multiple universes and Doctor Strange has to close them. And in a way, she's the bad guy because she unknowingly opened up all of these wormhole type realities. But she's not evil. She's just like, oh, like I wasn't in control. I wasn't in my right mind. Like she's
Well,
not purposely being the antagonist here. That
well,
was my thought.
evil or not, I feel like it will be another case of civil war of them against each other.
Interesting.
Is my take on it. So jumping into episode 4, obviously we got a whole other. Well, the opening scene shows what happened since it's the first time we got to see people being brought back like
Mm-hmm.
on camera from Hulk's snap
Hulk snap.
and all the
Thanos. Oh no,
Hulk.
you're right. You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So all the chaos it created, obviously, and well, now that we know, it's what is Captain Marvel's like? What's Monica's mom's name? Maria?
Yeah,
No, it's
I
not.
no
Is it
one
Maria?
no one cares.
No one cares. Anyway, so we do find out that she is dead. Um, because yeah, this episode is like set well after the opening scene, like 3 weeks after. So it is confirmed now that WandaVision is happening before Far From Home,
Yes.
because Far From Home happens months after
Yes.
Endgame, and this is just a few weeks later. She's the first to come back to the Sword. I thought Sword was like the space version of Shield, and that's where Nick Fury was. but I guess that's not
Well,
correct.
that's what it's supposed to be.
I know. So I
Maybe
was
there's
very
just
shocked to
like,
see, like, I guess that's the sword home base, and Nick's at, like, the sword base
yeah,
in space.
yeah, that's just I can't remember how it was in the comics, but it's like it just seems kind of weird that there's a sword headquarters in space and a sword division on Earth. It's like I thought Shield was Earth, Sword was
Yeah.
space, because it's like Shield protects the Earth, and Sword defends the Earth, right? Shield, Sword,
Mm-hmm.
protect, defend. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um, Also, happy to see Darcy 7 years later after Thor Dark World, and she's become a doctor and more involved.
I was like, what's happening here? I was like, why are you back of all the people? I don't mind it, but it was just
Well,
like
it does
I
make
wasn't
sense.
I wasn't expecting it. And I think that's the whole reason they brought her. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, thought
And
everybody just forgot about Dark World.
as much as they'd like to.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I like the film, but Mr. Unpopular Opinion.
Yeah. Do you think they're gonna start bringing these characters back because they're setting up the storyline where Jane becomes Thor? Jane.
Yes, that is what Love and Thunder is going to be.
Yeah, but
Because
do you think that's why they're bringing back all these characters from
I
Dark
feel
World?
like if that wasn't happening, that this would be Jane herself helping with this and not Darcy.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Because
I
obviously
agree.
Jane has more important things to do with Thor now that Darcy, like, they're like, okay, we'll make her the doctor, we'll get her, like, invested in it along with Jimmy. I think it's good of two, like, really, like, side characters coming more into the story. And did you catch, I saw this online, of Scott Lang does the card flick for Jimmy Woo at his house. And then Jimmy's like, no, seriously, how'd you do the trick? And then when Jimmy Woo's meeting Darcy, he flicks his business card out, doing the exact same thing.
Nice. I didn't catch
Assuming
that.
that Scott Lang taught him the magic trick or he looked it up.
Nice.
It's like Marvel does such attention to detail like that. I know we got so many references in Endgame, but like just fun little stuff like that is always makes me smile.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Man.
I can't believe people pay that much attention. Also, the helicopter drone has the same color scheme as Captain Marvel because Monica picked the color scheme of Captain Marvel's suit, so her drone is the same.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool too. Just the attention to detail is crazy, and you really gotta be paying attention.
Yeah. I noticed that, but the first thing I thought of was like, that's not the color it was inside the.
I thought that too, but then I was thinking, okay, it's just going to backdate it when it goes through. The beekeeper obviously makes much more sense now.
Mhm. True.
So I'm like, why is there a sword beekeeper? But also, why is the '50s version of a like radioactive suit a beekeeping suit?
Yeah,
I guess that's
radioactive
the
thing.
closest you can do.
Well, like,
But where'd the bees come from?
we had nuclear bombs and nuclear suits in the 50s. Like, that's when they were created. Like, or at least that's when it was, like, prevalent. The threat of nuclear war! Yeah.
Also, when they mentioned the space crew and how half of them got dusted or disappeared and then the other half lost their nerve, are the disappearing astronauts going to be the Fantastic Four? Is this a reference going ahead to the Fantastic Four? Because they already teased Fantastic Four at the end of Far From Home when there's the sign that says, we are excited to show you what happens next, with numbers counting up to 4. And it's a John Watts movie, and John Watts is directing the new Fantastic Four.
Oh, interesting.
So now that's 2 setups hinting at the Fantastic Four, and I can't wait to see Jim from The Office be our Mr. Fantastic.
That would be...
If they don't do that, I think a lot of fans will be very mad.
Well, here's the thing. Once again, in Fahey we trust. So if he doesn't pick John Krasinski for Mr. Fantastic, it's because he has a really good reason, and that really good reason would
Yeah.
probably be this other actor killed it in the audition, right?
For sure.
And so we just have to trust whoever he picks.
I think this is why in a recent interview they asked him like if he's like cast even in his mind who the X-Men will be, or more important, Wolverine, and he hasn't yet, because I think he's very nervous to cast a new Wolverine, since no matter what, it's kind of like the Heath Ledger situation. Fans are going to be so attached to who it was that they'll automatically discredit them as being not as good. Because I'm sure they can find a amazing Wolverine to fill the shoes of Hugh Jackman, but everyone's going to be attached to the 17 years they had Hugh Jackman.
I forget what the actor's name is, but there's this 17-year-old actor out there that they're speculating is going to be this Wolverine, and they're gonna start him off with like they're like thinking like a Wolverine TV show from like back in like the 50s or something, like when he's in the army and stuff, and that way as like the show moves on and he gets older, like we can grow with Wolverine. That is a proposed idea and theory that's out there right now.
That'd be fun, because then they could finally do what they wanted to do. I don't know if it was X-Men or Captain America, but they wanted like Captain America and Wolverine to be like in a World War flashback. And since they didn't have the rights back then, and Chris Evans is in talks to return, could it be a flashback kind of thing as you're talking? That'd be interesting to finally have, since it makes sense if they're fighting in the same war. So yeah, going back to the episode, it was just kind of explaining everything that's happened so far, with giving us the actual scenes of what happened before, with Jimmy trying to contact Darcy, watching at the end.
Yeah, it ties it all in together. By episode 4, it's all tied together, guys. Like,
Yeah.
episode 4 is a mind-blowing episode. I have a few friends that are like, is this what it's gonna be? I think Marvel's losing their touch, because they're not true believers.
I got that a lot too, since, well, it was the first 3 episodes like that.
Yeah.
And I think it was smart to release the first 2 at the same time, to kind of like, if people are like that and impatient, of like, oh, this, since one of my friends said, this has nothing to do with the Marvel Universe. It's like, well, we all know it's going somewhere past this silly sitcom.
Yeah, and there are little like hints and Easter eggs everywhere throughout it.
So it's just building up. Like, it's as if this was a movie, it would start like that and then progress on. And I really like how this is a show, and that we do get left on cliffhangers every week, because I can't wait for the next episode.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping the next episode is finally the Halloween one, but I don't know if that's...
It'll be. I think it'll be a while now, because the Halloween one's the 90s, right?
Yeah, well...
We still haven't gotten the 80s episode yet.
Yeah, so if the next one's 80s, we might be 2 away from the Halloween one, unless they do another Darcy Jimmy Woo spin-off episode.
Which I feel like they might, which would be awesome for me.
Well, I think going forward, they'll kind of like half and half it, seeing like what's going on inside, what's going on outside.
Oh yeah.
Because at the beginning, like, it was just too separate, then to finally get both sides of it would be...
But yeah, no, I have a lot of people that were like really skeptical at first, and now they're all like, "Yeah, I'm eating crow. This is an amazing show," and I'm like, "Yeah, trust in the Fahey."
But all you had to do was watch a trailer, since that does show up past, like, I assume, closer to the end of all this crazy stuff happening, and you kind of just gotta wait for it. But even if I didn't see a trailer, I would just completely trust in it anyway.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good show. This is different, which is cool. We're getting more in depth with these characters, even though they're not acting like their true selves.
True.
So, yeah, I'm very excited for the next episode.
Absolutely. Do you think Monica Rambeau will get Captain Marvel powers by the end of the show, or do you think that'll happen in a different show or in a movie? Or do you think she won't get them at
Um,
all?
no, I think since she is supposed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is her character, because she's obviously going to be in Captain Marvel too. So she could very well get the powers through some crazy thing happening in this or somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I think she'll get them in Captain Marvel too. But
Because she could even get them in. Since when's Captain Marvel come out?
I have not a clue.
I don't even know. So somewhere along the line, I think she'll get them before the Captain Marvel movie. So probably in the show.
Awesome. Do you want to put money on it?
I can't wait to look back. Since watching episode 4, I'm like, wow, this is one for one wing with saying, predicting these things that are happening. Even though it's not too hard to figure out from all the clues and hints we were given.
Yeah, if we can figure it out, you guys can figure it out. And if you guys didn't figure it
Yeah.
out, well, I guess that's why you're here.
That is why you're watching us ramble on about this show, since we know a little more than the average person.
Since we know a
And
little
that's
bit
why
more
Colin's not
than you.
That should be the
Our tagline.
tagline, not the intro.
One
We know a
wing.
little bit more than you.
We're better than you. We're not.
Not by much. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed us talk about it, and make sure to tune in, I guess, in 2 more weeks if we're going by the 2-episode schedule. So hopefully by the next episode of ours,
Yeah.
not the episode of the show, episode of us, I can finally talk about the Halloween episode I've been craving so dearly.
The only way you'll see a video come out next week is if something happens that's so mind-blowing we have to talk about it.
Yeah, if there's enough in episode 5 to talk about, I will for sure be up for making another one of these videos. But if not, we'll see you in 2 weeks. But check back next week. Maybe watch this video again. Alright, we'll see you next time, guys.
Peace out.